Can you hear me?
Can you hear me, David Lee Scales?
I can. This is Mission Control in Southern California. Where does
Coming,
this
coming live
recording
to you,
find you?
coming live to you from Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, home to World Surf League CEO Eric Elo Logan.
Have you found a statue erected to him?
I thought I was. I'm going to go searching this morning once more. I was almost certain. I pulled into the town before here, or I don't know, 70 miles up the road. I think it's called Weatherford, Oklahoma. And there was some big sign outside, home to someone Stafford, some no-name astronaut. So if some no-name astronaut gets a home to sign, then I'm certain there is a plaque here in Oklahoma City.
Well, a plaque would not do him justice. I mean, if Cocoa Beach, Florida has
A statue.
the statue of Kelly doing the, almost kung fu like zing at Sebastian Inlet, then I think Oklahoma City needs, Eric Logan with a paddle going left on a right, maybe is what the image that we would see.
Exactly. Throwing the tightest shaka, like a shaka so tight that, you could stick coal up there and get a diamond.
The problem is for him, he better hope that the statue reflects his current look rather than his look of 5 years ago when he started out as CEO.
That's true.
So hopefully in this process where they've got to get it passed by the city council and all that, he can show up and hopefully sway the direction for what the statue will look like.
He has certainly become a butterfly in the last few months.
Absolutely. Well, the aforementioned astronaut, well, noble as his journey may have been, and probably deserves the signage that you saw, I don't know if his mission lives up to the nobility of yours. So an article posted on Beach Grit days ago said, surf journalist embarks on epic quest across great United States of America in order to find the mythical non-surfing World Surf League fan. So long part of the bullish WSL growth push, it has been acquired for free by billionaire Dirk Zift, or since it's been acquired for free by billionaire Dirk Zift, has been converting those who don't surf to fall in love with the, quote, sport as passive consumers, much like the UFC has non-combat fans and football has non-brain damaged ones. It's a great line. Transitioning into real, as it were, or at the very least, legitimate. So I will drive from Cardiff by the Sea to Albuquerque, New Mexico, to Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, to Memphis, Tennessee, before ending in Nashville. My steed, a 2012 Volkswagen Jetta wagon in black that must be delivered to my ultra-talented soccer-playing daughter at Vanderbilt. What will I find in bars and roadside hotels doing along the way? Gas stations and rest stop, Graceland, that, my friends, will be the story of our time, of professional competitive surfing's true rise, or, as the case may be, Logan's lies, more as the story develops. What an epic prologue.
Boom. Here I am, too. Midway. I should have been home yesterday, but as happens on epic quests, there's pitfalls, there's dangers lurking around every corner. You never know what's going to happen when you set out on an epic quest.
I agree. I am enthralled. This might be the greatest series of articles Beach Grit has ever seen.
It's getting better too. It's getting better.
So this is quite the commitment to helping the World Surf League finding their mythical non-surfing fan. What inspired such a quest?
Well, the whole thing, daughter had to get her car right. And the thought was maybe we just ship it out there. But then I thought, no, like this, I've been thinking a lot about, remember, when was it? A couple weeks ago now, I guess, when Eric Logan was on the Lift podcast, maybe a month ago. And just the numbers have stuck with me, right? Like this bullish, crazy growth, 300%, 500%, spikes everywhere. And I was thinking, there was no, stats given for that. There was no source for where this came from. And so if the growth is so extreme, people in the middle of America have to be turning as well. This can't just all be surfers who are turning on to surfing. So I thought I've got to go find at least one person who doesn't surf, who watches or is at least aware that the World Surf League exists.
I think this is a really, again, it's a noble mission. Does the WSL, are they funding this? Do they know that you're doing this research for them? This is a huge, huge task.
They should. There's going to be a wrinkle in today's story as it has become known that I'm on this mission from the very top, from the seat of power at the World Surf League. But this is a TBD.
Okay. Are they upset?
No, or maybe they are, but yeah.
How could they not appreciate and support the mission? They are not doing this research on their own. I would think that they'd be fully supportive.
I think they are. I think there is much support.
Okay, good. How are your spirits? It's been a long mission.
Oh man, it's the up and down. I mean, that's again, an epic quest. You're high, you're low, you're fighting through stuff. It's been, yeah, but I'm good. I'm feeling good. I'm inching closer to end point. But man, have you ever driven the 40 East?
No.
Wow. Like it gets, I mean, it's like the surprises are that it's way more beautiful than I thought it was going to be. Like through the panhandle and stuff is like, I thought it was just my image of sort of the Texas panhandle in Oklahoma is just Dust Bowl. Great Depression style farmers depressed with dry dirt caked on their faces. It's beautiful.
Is it?
Yeah. But also that 40 East, I was just writing this right now. It's honestly from at least, so I was stuck up in Amarillo, Texas. I mean, I was stuck in Tucumcari, New Mexico, and then stuck in Amarillo. And then the drive from Amarillo to Oklahoma City is just, a straight shot across the panhandle. And semis or tractor trailers, depending on your regional dialect, outnumber cars like at least 20-1. Yeah. And just on the road. It's like paddling a boogie board out into a heavily localized lineup and just sitting there.
A heavily localized lineup of SUPs.
Yeah, exactly. Who are just like aggressive SUPs who are just paddling around you, and you're just there on your boogie trying to snake a little corner. It's
a Molokai to Oahu paddleboard race, and you're kicking your little feet on your boogie.
On my Maury. Yeah. It is sort of terrifying.
Well, okay, so a couple questions before we get into your journey. Are you searching for actual fans or potential fans?
I'm searching for actual fans. I'm searching for somebody who has watched any heat, anything, is aware of any part of the World Surf League, is even aware that it exists, like anything to do. Like, I mean, I'm casting my net wide here.
Okay, well, I'm going to give you some advice. If you go into the woods and you're looking for a bear or whatever, a deer, if you're hunting, you don't just start automatically looking for deer. You look for signs of deer. You look for deer poop. You look where maybe whatever deers eat has been eaten off the bushes and the trees. And so I was trying to think, what are signs of World Surf League fans? And that's what you need to be. You need to find people who have super boring jobs where they can watch 12 hours of competition a day on their computer while they're doing it. So I think you need to be headed into office buildings, high-rise office buildings with artificial lighting and, things like this.
Great point. I was thinking though, if you were a rancher out there or a farmer, right? I was just through tons of corn land. If you're out there on your combine, wouldn't you just want to throw on some WSL while you're ripping corn?
I guess, but you run into data issues with your phone streaming. You don't have direct access to Wi-Fi. Unless maybe tractors have Wi-Fi. Who knows?
I mean, they probably do. But this is the first time I've been in a city for the last, feels like eternity. So
really?
Yeah. So this will be today will be a good day.
New opportunities have arisen.
Exactly.
You also, maybe you need to find people who are impervious to Ewan McGregor talking about Expedia every 20 minutes at a commercial break, or Connor Coffin talking about 805. That would be another indicator.
I was looking, so you're exactly right. And that's what I'm going to do here in Oklahoma City. In Amarillo and in Tucumcari, I was looking for signs of any even kind of surf wear, like somebody wearing board shorts or, which felt to me sort of ubiquitous. Like if I could find somebody with board shorts or wearing board shorts or Billabong t-shirt, then I could chat him up, right?
Totally.
I have not seen one piece of surf adjacent clothing since I've left home. Not one. Literally not a Ruka anything, not a nothing. Not
Incredible.
a hat. Yeah.
Well, it's surf fans are harder and harder to identify, to be honest. I don't wear, any of those main brands.
Sure, but I was thinking if somebody did, then they may be aware of the brand's roots. And if they're aware of the brand's roots, then maybe they've gone in. But no, like to me, it spoke to more. I haven't even seen Hurley out here. Hurley, which
That's
does
crazy.
men's grooming product, right? Where,
Yeah.
but again, I've been in the Badlands in strange places that I probably wouldn't have been otherwise.
Do you know the aroma of Hurley's, beard creams?
No, but I if I saw some, I actually need to go get some fingernail clippers. I've been on the road so long. So I'm going to go shopping for Hurley fingernail clippers today.
If you can find the beard cream, at least familiarize yourself with the aroma so you could start sniffing people's beards in Oklahoma City and maybe identify them that way.
It'd be so good. I'd be like a surf tracker.
It'd be like when you touched Ashton's beard.
Yeah.
So do you have a plan to capture these fans? Do you have a net system, maybe a blowgun or something? What are you going to do when you find them?
I mean, I feel I need to get all of their data, and then sell it directly to the World Surf League. Like
Okay,
get their address, get their, as their friend contacts, get everything. Maybe I'll steal their cell phone and sell that to the World Surf League at top dollar.
I think there's like mining devices. You walk up with some magnetic device next to their cell phone and it automatically captures all of that data. Maybe that's what you should be doing.
Because imagine if the World Surf League had the one non-surfing surf fan in Middle America and then all that person's contacts. I mean, that would be worth a lot of money.
That's how you grow. You just plant a seed somewhere, germinate, cultivate, let that thing grow.
Exactly. But I've yet to find the non-surfing surf fan.
Well, you also have to ensure that they're impervious to seizures in case they go to worldsurfleague.com. Okay, article number 2. Surf journalist hopes America's rich Southwest, home of many First Nations tribes, is gushing geyser of non-surfing World Surf League fans. So tell me about that day of your mission. What happened?
So headed out from San Diego early. I woke up early. I was going to leave, I think, planning on leaving at like 7 or 8 because I wanted to gun to Albuquerque that first day.
That's not that early. 7 or 8?
Early. No. I mean, that's when I wanted to leave, but I woke up at 5. So I left at 6 before the sun was coming up. So I thought that was pretty good. And I was thinking as I was driving, thinking about what the World Surf League does and how they performative activize better than anyone. Like there's so much performative activism amongst the World Surf League. And I was thinking about Bells, how they do, Aboriginal face painting. And don't they do something like that at Jeffrey Bay too?
I'm not sure.
Jeffreys Bay, sorry. But they do, like in Tahiti, they do stuff. And then when they used to do it Fiji, they would have like the kava or whatever it was ceremony, like where they're always First Nations, and so I was thinking maybe Native Americans, maybe the First Nations of America have seen this performative activism and thought this is our league, right? I was thinking in terms of thinking football had the Redskins up until, months ago, just a slap in the face. Indians or baseball has the Indians with Chief Yahoo, not anymore, but like all the other leagues have just really thumbed their nose at these Native American tribes, except for the World Surf League, which is embracing performatively and including on social feeds that they are for them, right? And so they are with them. They stand in alliance. So I thought maybe these First Nation tribes have seen these smoke signals, as it were, and have become fans of the World Surf League because they know that's a league for them.
I think that's excellent. That's an excellent path to go down.
Yep. I didn't find any. I talked to a couple First Nations peoples from I can't remember which tribes, but had never heard of it, were unaware that competitive professional surfing existed and were disinclined to look into it more.
And what is your strategy for approaching these people, and what kind of questions do you ask? Do you identify as a journalist? What's your method?
Yes, I say I'm on a mission here. I'm on an epic quest, and if you wouldn't mind asking a few questions here, and then I proceed to ask. Are you aware? Do you? I mean, I start broad. Do you know about anything about surfing? And then I take it from there. And usually, the "Do you know anything about surfing?" is where it gets derailed.
Do you approach random people on the street, or is this somebody that you're interacting with over a counter when you're purchasing an item?
I mean, I've approached a couple randoms, and more or less though, like there's an interaction. I'm a friendly guy. I can, make small talk with people at the gas station, with people at the truck stop, people at the diner. So I'm just out here making small talk.
Okay. But you did receive a shaka on this day.
I did. I received a shaka from my waiter while I was eating New Mexican cuisine. Do you like New Mexican cuisine?
What is it how do you define New Mexican?
I think anything with roasted green chilies on it, more or less, is New Mexican. I think
I'm in.
if you have a burger and you throw roasted green chilies on it, it's New Mexican. If you have a tamale and it's made with roasted green chilies, it's New Mexican. So my waiter threw me a shaka, and I thought, for sure, here it is. But nope, it wasn't.
So did he see or somehow identify that you were a surfer, or maybe word got around?
I could have.
We were asking about surfing, and he just thought he'd throw you one. Like, why in the world?
I have no idea, because I asked too, like, had he lived in California or anything? Or, I mean, where would he, get the shaka from? And no, he was like a First Nations Albuquerque guy, been there, grown up his whole life there, had, a bunch of kids. Maybe his kids were fans, but he was not, and also not aware, and also only vaguely aware of surfing.
Man, striking out.
Yep, a big swing and a miss. But I like that gave me, when you're striking out and you get just a little taste of something, and so it gave me hope. It buoyed me.
The shaka.
Yeah, I mean,
elevated your spirits.
It did.
Okay, well, so is that all to report from that day on the road, or is there anything else?
No, that was pretty much it in Albuquerque.
Okay.
I got there it's I think a 10-ish hour drive maybe from Cardiff by the Sea to Albuquerque. So got there a little bit late, wandered around, went to eat, and then that was more or less it. Left the next morning.
How'd you like Albuquerque?
Strange town. The bummer was that they are unveiling the monument to methamphetamine is today the 29th? Today's the 27th. 28th. Tomorrow they are unveiling a statue to methamphetamine right by the hotel where I was staying. And if I would have timed my journey better, I could have been there to see it.
What is the statue?
It's Walter White and Jesse Pinkman from Breaking Bad are getting a statue in Albuquerque, and they're coming. Bryan Cranston, and can't remember who's the actor that played Jesse Pinkman. Did you watch Breaking Bad?
Yeah, I loved it. I forget that kid's name.
Yeah, but they're all like the show creator and writer. Everybody's going out. It's going to be a big party for the unveiling of the statue.
That's so funny. That show was supposed to be set in Riverside.
Really?
Which would obviously work perfectly well.
Totally.
But California is so not friendly to movie productions, and other locations actually incentivize people to come shoot because they want the business. And so they set it in Albuquerque instead.
It's great. I mean, that was the impression of Albuquerque that I had, right? Is from Breaking Bad. And it feels like that. It feels like Breaking Bad looked.
Aaron Paul.
Yeah, Aaron Paul. That's it. Aaron Paul.
That's it.
Bryan Cranston. Yeah.
We actually just started watching Better Call Saul.
Yeah, is it good?
It's excellent, man.
Is it set in Albuquerque too, or did Saul move on? Okay.
I think it is Albuquerque as well. It's a prelude to Breaking Bad. It's all about Saul's origin story, but it's got a lot of the same characters from Breaking Bad, because he interacts with all these criminals kind of along the way. And it's a slow pace, kind of like Breaking Bad was. So you have to kind of be paying attention. You can't really be looking at your phone, but it's freaking every bit as good as Breaking Bad. Amazingly.
I'm getting in.
Yeah. And there's like 8 seasons too.
Well, you and Lauren should go pay a little romantic weekend getaway to Albuquerque then.
Yeah, she lived in New Mexico for a bit, and so she has feelings about it. I don't want to say she loves it. There's probably a certain amount of nostalgia that she feels for it to a certain degree, but also uh it was a very culture shock experience coming from Southern California.
I mean, I will say it's beautiful too. It's beautiful in, like that big kind of wide blue sky with the puffy white clouds and yeah, the sort of striking red earth. It
Yeah.
ain't a bad place to look.
Yeah. Well, moving on, when you left Albuquerque, article number 3, surf journalist suffers abject disaster on epic quest, leans into World Surf League patented wall of positive noise, and has profound metaphysical experience. Wow. This sounds like a
Yeah,
huge day for you.
it was a big day, big day. So was sitting there in Albuquerque ready to head off, or did head off actually, and there was big signs above the freeway, the big digital signs that said I-40 closed, at mile marker, whatever it was, find alternative route. And so I was looking, it was like 120 miles down the road. And I was like, maybe whatever it is, will clear up. So I got closer and closer. I was looking on my phone for trying to find ways around whatever it was. The Google Maps was being unhelpful and not saying anything. So I was like, just, going old school, trying to find different routes that I could get around it. So I stopped at a truck stop a couple miles before the whatever it was and asked a trucker. Truckers, they know a lot of stuff, those truckers, about the road. So I asked one, said, hey, is the 40 closed up there? And he said, no, it's not closed. There's a fatality.
Oof.
Fatal accident. And so it is closed, but they just reroute you onto a frontage road and then they pop you back on. And so I said, great. So kept heading, going.
Had he ever heard of the World Surf League?
No, he hadn't. I asked him too. Yeah, he was an African-American trucker. I'll tell you what. What do you have in your mind when you think of truckers?
Old white dudes with mustaches.
Yeah, I'll tell you. The trucking industry, I don't know if it's just here or I'm assuming it's anywhere, has diversified like crazy. It's hard to find a sort of what I had in my mind as the typical trucker. There's a bunch of Sikhs who are trucking, a bunch of African Americans, like a bunch of all kinds, all sorts, women. Like I've seen it, like there's not one trucker. Like it is just a random age, young, old. Like I was at the Denny's. I eaten at a Denny's in somewhere, or was it? Oh, Tucumcari. And my waitress said, or asked me if I was a driver. Like I even appear as a driver.
Amazing.
Yeah.
See, I love this. Equal opportunity, obviously, but there's also certain professions, despite our woke culture's need to diversify everything and have equal results of everything, there are certain industries that are more equipped, or certain people are more equipped for, certain genders are more equipped for, even certain ethnicities are better equipped for. Nobody wants to admit it, but there are such jobs. I'm going to give you an easy example. Firemen. You would prefer to have a strong, strapping person carrying you out of a burning house than a 90-pound person. You know what I mean? And so, like, okay, just hire the biggest, strongest, strapping people. They're probably going to be males. Fine. They're probably not going to be a certain ethnicity. That's fine with me too. Whoever is the best qualified for the given job. Give everybody an equal opportunity to get the job. But then once you go through the paces and the criteria and you do all the training, whoever's most qualified, that's who gets the job. If they all happen to be one ethnicity, so be it. If they all happen to be one gender, so be it. You know what I mean? But trucking, there's anybody, whoever, old, young, anybody.
Yeah, 16-year-old to a 90-year-old.
I love it.
Yeah, it's great.
Perfect.
It's great. Oh man, it looks rough. It is like the driving part is it seems like the fine enough part, but those things are breaking down all over, and you just see these guys at the side of the road, hood up, trying to sort out whatever is wrong. It seems a rough job.
I feel like there's also a class, like when you're on the road, you identify a certain cast system, because some of those trucks have like the extra bed in the
Yeah.
back, the extension where they sleep in the back, and some of those are smaller than others. So you see the giant one that's like a double decker probably, and it's like a whole bedroom set back there probably. Those are the ones that you want to be. That's the upper class.
One of my friends who was driving me, which we'll get to, yeah, was calling him out and just like whistling at the ones he liked and stuff. Like they all know clearly, like, oh man, that's a sweet ride, or that one's not a great ride.
Do they call it a rig?
What did he had a bunch of, he was like, there's a low boy, I can't remember all the names, but it was like well beyond rig.
Amazing. Okay.
Yeah.
So back on
So back
service
on,
road.
so I'm on the surface road. Everything's going good. It's funny. I'm going to write about this later too, but some jerk with California plates, like everybody's just sitting on the service road, right? Tried to pass everyone on the shoulder. Like, I was like, what a California dick. But anyway, so we're going, reroute on. Right when I'm about to get back onto the freeway, I punch it and the car just goes crazy. Like exclamation point lights or exclamation mark lights, like engine light, flashing, and the car totally loses power. And I'm like, oh no, what is this? So I pull off to the shoulder. I'm still on the on ramp, turn the car off, turn it back on. The engine light's on, but there's no flashing. So I press the gas pedal again and it goes, but then it like all power just drains. I can drive, but it's just drained. And so I shoulder up like 2 miles up the road, there's a rest stop. So I get off, turn the car off, think, whoa, what am I going to do? And it did have a small oil leak. And so I thought it must be that I'm out of oil. So I thought, okay, I got to, I hung around the rest stop for a minute, asking if anybody had oil. Nobody had oil. So I thought there was a gas station 2 miles back. So I thought, well, here we go. I'm hoofing it to the gas station. But I didn't want to walk across or along the freeway. So I saw that looked like there was a little dirt road off to the side, but I had to hop barbed wire. So I hopped the barbed wire, started walking on it, and then realized I'm on private property here. Like I'm gonna in like middle nowhere, New Mexico. I'm gonna fully get shot. So hopped the barbed wire back, got a good little nick, and then just marched along the freeway to the gas station. And it had to be, it's a good 100 degrees, just
Jeez.
cooking hot, 2 miles down at the freeway, or down the freeway. I even ran across all lanes of traffic to get to the other side. Yep.
So you retrieve oil with the plan of going back and putting oil in the car.
Yes, got oil, hitched a ride back with another wonderful First Nations man. He had never heard about surfing either. He was fully off the grid. He had even moved from California, I think. But yeah, was fully off the grid out there. That's why I moved. Anyway, hitched a ride back with him, put oil in, nothing, same thing. Some friendly guy comes by and says, oh, it's hot out here. You got a vapor lock, take the gas cap off. So took the gas cap off, same thing. And eventually I just ran out of things that I could try. So called a tow truck. He had to sit in the same traffic, so it took forever. So by the time I got to the nearest town up was Tucumcari, New Mexico. By the time I got there, Ray's truck garage was closed. They said we don't ever work on Volkswagens, but we'll try to figure it out tomorrow. So stayed the night in Tucumcari, ate at the Denny's. Next morning, get a call from Ray's, and they say, okay, so the code's coming up is that the throttle body box or the throttle box or something is bad. We can get the part, but we can't put it in because it needs to be programmed by the dealership. The nearest dealership is in Amarillo, Texas, which is, I think it was 120 miles up the road. I'm sitting there thinking, okay, the car drove, right? So I asked them, could I theoretically drive? And they said, theoretically, yes, but it goes into limp mode. So I didn't know limp mode was such a thing. Limp mode. Have you ever heard of limp mode? Yeah, limp mode. At least in Volkswagen, if your car goes bad, the computer will throw the car into limp mode so you don't destroy it, I guess, where it won't go faster than 40 miles an hour. So I was just had the longest debate. Like I asked him, is there a way around? Can I, is there a slow road that I can get to Amarillo on? And they were, nope, like everything is, you're stuck on the 40 basically. And they say you can, limp on the shoulder, except I had just seen the wreckage of that fatality. It was a semi and a car, and it was, I mean, it's amazing how crumpled a car can get. And so I thought, and I thought, and I thought, and I thought, and I eventually said, okay, I'll just get it towed to Amarillo. So Julio, nice tow truck driver. We had a great chat. He was Cuban, had the bullet, had fought in Desert Storm, and had a bullet lodged in his back that was like bulging out. He like took his shirt off while he was driving to show me, just swerving all over the road. But yeah, Julio was awesome. Julio had never heard of surfing. I mean, he had heard of surfing, but had never, knew nothing about the World Surf League either. So struck out there again, but finally arrived in Amarillo to the Volkswagen dealership and it was like 3 p.m. I think at this time. And they were like, okay, we'll take a look tomorrow. So I was stuck in Amarillo for the night.
Man, what a detour.
Yeah, big detour. So, and I had no idea how long this was going to take, or if I was going to be in Amarillo for like a week or what. Well,
so did they fix it?
They did. So next morning they called and said, yeah, it needs the throttle body box. And I said, can you fix it today? And they said, we'll try. And quoted me a time, like, I think they said, we'll have it done by 6. And it was done early. It was done at 3. So awesome. I walked from my hotel through 100 humidity to the dealership, and off I went.
I mean, and ultimately your ultra talented daughter would have ended up with that problem down the road if you didn't encounter it on your quest. And so Good thing that you encountered it now and solved it for her.
Took one for the team. And also I will say, during this whole time, during both in Tucumcari and in Amarillo, I'll tell you, David Lee Scales, we have a network of beautiful friends out there. People, listeners of the podcast, readers of Beach Grit, would hit me up in the DMs regularly. Hey, if you need, send me people's names that live there, all kinds of help and stuff to do. Like go to the Big Texan Steakhouse. I got that so many times. Go to the Big Texan Steakhouse in Amarillo. Like it's funny. You'll kill some time there. So friendly advice and offers of you can stay at my house if you can get here. Like, I mean, beautiful people.
Well, as you're telling the story, I'm reminded every good road trip movie, the highlights of the movie are the people that you meet along the way. It's never the end mission that you're trying to accomplish. It's the people along the way. And you've already outlined some beautiful characters.
I mean, they're so great. Yeah, my waitress who laughed at the I peed in Kelly's pool at the Applebee's in Amarillo, I really thought I had one there. I thought, she knows Kelly. If she's laughing at that, because I peed in Kelly's pool is not funny by itself. It's got to be funny for a reason. But no, she didn't know Kelly Slater.
Bummer. But I feel like you could actually be planting the World Surf League seeds with each of these people. For everybody that says no, they could then become a fan when you extol the virtues.
I am the Johnny Appleseed of competitive professional surfing, out here sowing the land with the seeds.
At Applebee's, no less.
The poetry could not be better.
It really couldn't. Side note, there's a song about trucking that references Tucumcari.
Oh, really?
I never have heard of. That's the only time I ever have heard that the town name Tucumcari is in that song. And I almost thought it was like a made up city. I never looked it up. It's just, I know the lyric from the song. And then when I saw it in your article, I was like, no way, that's where Tucumcari is.
Well, that's the other crazy thing about Tucumcari as I wrote, the Voice of No Reason, great Beach Grit commenter, wrote for my first post about going on the epic quest, wrote 2 things. He wrote, stop in wherever, I can't remember the town, Gallup, New Mexico, maybe, and go get some pointillism, like some First Nations jewelry. And the second, so he wrote that, and I drove through Gallup. I saw the sign for the specific place he referenced, except I think by the time I was there, it was like 5 or 6, and I thought they might be closed, and I still had a bunch of time to get to Albuquerque. So I thought or maybe it was even 7, but I thought I'm gonna miss restaurants. I was looking at everything closes in Albuquerque at 9, and I thought I'll fully miss dinner. So I pushed through. I didn't stop. But the other comment, he literally 2 comments. That one, stop here. And then also just wrote, Tucumcari, New Mexico, drive safe. So
What does that mean?
he just wrote that, and that's where I ended up.
Wow.
It was meant to
Okay.
be somehow, Tucumcari. But yeah, then Amarillo.
The song, I'll send you the song. You can enjoy it on your journey.
Great.
And I think it's, for the listeners, it's Little Feat is the band and Willin is the song. I think. But side note, when Lauren lived in New Mexico, like you said, everything closes at 9. One of the managers of the Applebee's turned it into a nightclub after like 10 o'clock at night. Like they shut everything down. This was not approved by corporate at all. So they'd shut everything down, pretend like they were closing, be closed for an hour. And then at 10 o'clock at night, it was known among the locals that it became a nightclub.
That is epic. That is absolutely epic. It's funny. I have a long relationship with Applebee's now. I want to get an Applebee's. You know how what's his name? Funny New Zealand, Luke Cederman.
Yeah.
Does Jack's Link stuff?
Yeah.
Is he actually sponsored by Jack's Link, or does he?
Yes.
He is. Okay. But like, so I mean, I do 90% of my riding at Applebee's. There's the closest thing to Daughter's Ballet Studio back in San Diego is an Applebee's. So I literally am at Applebee's all the time. Like I'm a straight up local at the San Diego Applebee's. I know all the bartenders, like come in, they'll greet me by name. They know what I like. It's like full on. And then the Applebee's, and I would have gone in Tucumcari in Albuquerque if I knew where one was, but did go to one in Amarillo. Like I'm always at Applebee's. Things are always happening to me at Applebee's. I need to get an Applebee's sponsorship.
Yeah, you really do.
Yeah.
Unexpected that would be your go-to location.
It just, Applebee's chose me. I didn't choose Applebee's.
Got it. That makes perfect sense. From the same day's article, as you were going through your abject disaster and eyeing Oklahoma, you said, Oklahoma City, though, certain to be a jackpot of non-surfing World Surf League fans, the very same for which I am searching these great United States. You, of course, know that the Sooner State's capital here, or has a famous first son, and just so happens to be the CEO of the aforementioned WSL. The tall tale of Eric Elo Logan must certainly be passed from father to son, birthing person to them, whispered in cowboy bars, shouted at Thunder games like those of Pecos Bill and Davy Crockett. The boy who was afraid of water, finding his wetsuit of armor and ruling professional competitive surfing at its very peak. Beautiful folklore.
It's a tall tale if there ever was one. Did you ever like those American tall tales as a kid?
Yeah,
absolutely. I loved them. Like Paul Bunyan, Pecos Bill, Davy Crockett. I mean, every one of them. Remember Disney used to do them, or someone used to do. Like I just loved American tall tales. And as I was thinking about Elo, he's as an American a tall tale as any of them.
Well, and just a wild success story.
I mean, completely. But if you would say that to somebody, if you would say, which of these is true? There was a cowboy named Pecos Bill who, what was one of his, used a snake as a lasso, or there was this guy born in Oklahoma City who was afraid of water, who became the most powerful man in professional surfing.
Which and would most you handsome?
Yeah, and most handsome. You take Pecos Bill as true over Elo.
Yeah, a giant lumberjack with an ox. That seems reasonable to me.
I mean, it might be that north is weird.
Exactly. Well, article number 4, as surf journalist limps into Texas on epic quest, World Surf League CEO elates core fan base with inspirational message. The journey to get here might have been serendipitous, but it has also been life-changing.
Boom. I mean,
wow.
Just everything happening at once. As I am questing Eric Elo Logan, I think he appeared in it a while ago, but somehow decided to repost it. He was the cover boy for South Bay magazine, a long story about his origin tale and all this and whatnot. And he posted just the most inspirational Instagram message to his fans that elated his fans. The comments, all of them, everyone just glowing about Eric Elo Logan and his path to success, and deserved, and claps, and he manifested it. And my favorite one, there was a slideshow in there of Eric in different poses, I do believe, and one of them was him surfing, and one comment was, "Isn't that a left?" Did you see that one?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. The statue that they should erect in Oklahoma City is him going right on a left.
Really, really funny. It totally was. I don't know why I picked that picture. It is hilariously him
Because he doesn't even know.
him fully committed to going right on a left.
I know.
Yeah.
You just got to add the paddle to his hand.
Yep.
And it's almost as if he's following your journey on Beach Grit, because he could see that your spirits were down after abject disaster and wanted to convey this inspirational message as you were headed into Oklahoma City.
That's what I needed. And back to leaning into the wall of positive noise, I was sitting there down in the dumps in that truck stop. That truck stop was bleak, but outside of Tucumcari, I had already walked, in the 100-degree weather down the 40 freeway to get the oil that didn't solve my problem. I'm just sitting there waiting for hours for a tow truck, getting bitten by red ants, just feeling down. And then thought, what would Joe Turpel do? Joe Turpel wouldn't be down when it's 2 foot and dumping. WSL calls it 8 foot and firing. So I need to change my perspective and lean into this wall of positive noise. I need to feel this myself. And I did. It buoyed me.
It's all about perspective.
Exactly.
And also, never would you have appreciated a 2 foot and dumpy day as much as when you had gone through that bad experience. It's when you're sitting in beautiful Cardiff by the sea, overlooking the ocean, that's when you can be judgmental about 2 foot and dumpy.
It is so true. And what I realized too is every little victory. Like, I went to the gas station in Tucumcari and said I was looking for a beer after my hell day. I just needed a beer. Scanned and saw there's no beer here. And then I thought, dang it, because somebody had either commented, I think it was a comment in Beach Grit, that beware of Hope, Arkansas, where Bill Clinton is from. It's a dry town. And thought Tucumcari, New Mexico is probably a dry town. So then I asked the guy, hey, you guys have any beer? And he said, no, we don't, but across the street at the other truck stop, they do. And that one Budweiser was better than anything ever.
Exactly.
2 foot and dumping. Just
all about perspective. Yep. Well, despite what you've encountered on your journey, all the challenges, you've still been also writing about surfing in addition to writing about your quest. And so 2 or 3 weeks ago, we talked about a punch, Kelly Slater being punched by Laird Hamilton. Fantastic day on Beach Grit for clicks. You tried to reuse the punch with a Diplo story, did not work the same way that the first one did. Looks like you've diverted this past week and are now trying a different adjective, a different method of offense. And Pete Mel has choked out Kelly Slater in a recent story. So explain the story and how did that work for Beach Grit's clicks?
Well, I saw a Instagram clip of Pete Mel. I'm assuming it was in Santa Cruz, just shredding, right? I mean, he was like, and of course, Pete Mel just won the ride of the year, I think, for his last winter. Was it just this past winter, his ride at Mavs?
I forget what season that was.
I think it was. I think it was just months ago.
No, it was the
last year?
Yeah, it had to be, because I interviewed him, and I interviewed him like 9 months ago, so it had to be.
Okay.
The wave was written months before that.
In any case, I was watching him rip and then thinking about him winning that Mavericks contest, or not Mavericks contest, but winning the wave of the winter on an epic ride, and thinking, you know what? Pete is 52, Kelly's 50. I'm going to say right now, Pete Mel is the better over 50 surfer. Kelly's like struggling on the, let's make no bones about it, struggling on tour. And Pete Mel's out there ripping and crushing big waves. So he choked Kelly out, and the story did very well. Thank you very much.
Perfect.
Yep.
Perfect. I read the story because I figured there was like some surf video from like the early 90s where they were like having a backyard wrestling match, like the famous Paul Roach punching Kelly with the boxing gloves, you know?
Yeah.
I figured you unearthed like a Josh Palmer vid or something like that. And
Nope.
so I'm looking for the clip and I'm like, no. And then I click on it and it's him shredding. And then I read the caption in the story and I'm like, oh, here, you
Metaphor.
got me. You
It's
got me. I'm
me-
in on the joke and you still got me.
It's funny. Derek sent me an email and he said, "People sure do love Kelly getting punched out, choked, etc."
Well, the funny thing is, in the Instagram clip, before you push play, it's just the screenshot. There's a bald guy on the wave in front of Pete.
Ooh, I
Like
didn't even
Pete's
see
doing a turn and there's a bald guy standing on the inside wave. And I'm like, oh, okay. So it must be that he jumps off his board and grabs Kelly or something. There had to be some version of a choke that wasn't metaphorical.
Nope.
And I watched the whole clip, then read the story, and then it all made sense.
Pure metaphor.
Yeah. Well done. Well executed.
Thank you.
You also wrote about Burrito Gate takes wild turn as the illegal structure surf supernova Kelly Slater erected on his North Shore property exclusively revealed! Exclamation point. Quite the headline.
Yep. I got a call from the realtor. I had done a story a couple days before about Kelly's house going for rent on the North Shore. Kelly's house, for those who don't know, one of his two, as it turns out, Hawaiian North Shore houses is for rent, $46,000 a month. And you can get it minimum 3 months. So save your money. But yeah, like, and then I put a description from Architectural Digest on there that there's a, Buddha by the pool or something like that, and a burrito protecting it. And lo and behold, I got a call from the realtor who deals with the property. And she was a wonderfully kind Hawaiian woman. She deals with both Kelly's properties there. And she said, just FYI, neither property has ever had a burrito. And there is no Buddha by the pool. And I said, I will correct the record, ma'am. And she said, yeah, that like whoever wrote it, it was in the Honolulu Star Advertiser, the original story about Kelly having an illegal structure on his property. And I think they said it was a burrito too. I don't know exactly if they said that, but I'm pretty sure they did. I'm almost 100% sure they did now that I think about it. But she was frustrated at that, kind, but frustrated at that journalist, I guess. And then said something about the inertia specifically, like how they pushed the story too. So I took that and ran with it. It was the inertia's fault.
She was mad at the inertia.
Yeah, she wasn't, but she should have been.
So what is a burrito and how does it protect its structure?
A burrito is a sand-filled bag, I think, that they throw on the beach, and it stops erosion of the, but it's somehow real bad for, I don't know exactly what it is. It's somehow real bad for environmentally. It's unnatural, like it causes unnatural things to happen. So it like keeps, I don't know. I think they eventually, I think all the sand washes off the beach if there's burritos. Gotcha.
I had never heard that term before.
Yeah, the house is protected, but the beach is gone. Something like that.
So there's a couple things in this story here. The price of the house, $43,000 or $46,000 a month to rent. And you included images of the house, which is kind of interesting just to see how Kelly lives and how he's decorated that house. It's a Asian Hawaiian aesthetic. How do you feel about it?
I mean, so as it turns out, this is, I don't know if he's ever lived in this home. I think he probably bought this one as a income property, maybe. His other house is up by Aokai. I think that's where he lives. But still, the fact that it's decorated that way, it was one of the most hideous interior decors I had ever seen in my entire life.
That's what jumped out at me about it as well. You see that exact decor in Hawaii all the time, like that kind of Asian Hawaiian theme. That one looked outdated. That one looked like it was designed in 1992.
It did not look good.
Yeah.
I will agree there. Yeah. But so I don't know how Kelly's other house looks. We need to get some interior pictures from that. But Kelly does not care, apparently, about the aesthetic values of people paying $46,000 a month.
Apparently not.
Yeah.
But if anybody's looking to stay on the North Shore for 3 months and has the budget, let us know. Let us know how that house is.
Totally. Love to know. And yeah, maybe you could, if you're paying $46,000 a month, maybe you can do your own touches in there. Maybe Kelly wouldn't mind a different couch or something in there.
Would he even notice?
I don't think so.
Probably not. Well, I think that we should go to commercial break so that we can we've got some interesting things. I need listeners' feedback during this commercial break. We're going to pitch some ideas, and then I want listeners to help us solve this issue.
Great.
Awesome. Let's go to commercial. All right, Chaz, we got Bubba Coos with us today, and I was thinking about it. We can, share the good word, the message of Bubba Coos, but even better than us doing that, I think a pro surfer should be out there extolling the virtues. I think Sally Fitzgibbons is on like KFC. There's a couple of other surfers who have affiliation with different food brands and or chains. And so I think that you and I need to brainstorm and figure out who would be the best surfer to promote Bubba Coos. It's got to be somebody on the East Coast.
One of my favorite surfers on the East Coast is Rob Kelly.
I mean, Rob Kelly already does have that affiliation. You're right. He was featured in the commercial. I think he's got a Bubba Coos sticker on his board. I think we need to go beyond that.
We need one more than Rob?
I think so.
Okay, so a East Coast surfer who is a Bubba Coos, the Bubba Coos man or the Bubba Coos woman.
Yes, and the toss 'em wings man or woman.
Oh yeah, so we need to. Okay, well we definitely need listeners to weigh in here.
I'm going to throw out some names. I mean, it doesn't have to be East Coast, and maybe it shouldn't be. I'm thinking because Bubba Coos is working their way across the nation, just as you are, but in the opposite direction. Maybe it is somebody on waving the West Coast flag that can just welcome them as they work their way across. But when I was thinking East Coast, I was like the Geiselmans.
Yeah,
they're tried and true. You identify them as East Coast, but are they on the downside of their career? It's up for question.
I think they're transitioning into free surfing well, aren't they?
I don't know. There's a question mark there. So I'm going to throw out names. Balaram, Cam Richards. And then I thought, what about Cruz Denofa?
Oh, Cruz Denofa would be great. Young, good look.
Frozen.
Back.
Yeah, you're back now. Say again, Cruz Denofa would what?
I mean, young, good looking, a ripper. He'd make me want to eat Bubba Coos.
I think so. And kids love burritos.
What about Rhode Island's own? You know who I'm talking about. Who's the most famous surfer in Rhode Island?
Sid.
Of course. If Sid Abruzzi told me to go eat a taco, I would go eat that taco.
You are absolutely right. Maybe we need two advocates, one to cover the older demographic, one to cover the younger demographic.
Exactly. That's what, and then with Rob Kelly right in the middle.
Boom.
That's a perfect trio.
We solved it. So yeah, Cruz Denofa making inroads digitally, doing backflips, by the way. And backflip is on, there's an alliteration, backflip burrito Bubba Coos.
Exactly.
So I like Cruz. He's going to message to the youth. But then you've got Sid sitting in a brick and mortar surf shop, dealing with real surfers day to day, face to face. And when they walk in and they smell the aroma of Bubba Coos in Water Brothers,
how perfect would that be? If I saw a commercial anywhere, online, on television, Sid Abruzzi sitting there eating a Bubba Coos burrito, saying, "Hey, you need this burrito," I would go eat that burrito. I wouldn't.
100%.
I would leave right then and go get a Bubba Coos burrito.
I would take Sid's advice on anything, where to eat. Yeah, absolutely. Yep. Okay, cool. We solved this. I'm going to get on the phone after we get off this podcast and make those calls and try to broker this deal.
Great. Love it.
I'm just looking out for Bubba Coos. I think they're great, and I want to see them expand. We talk about their franchises, and but I want them, the franchises, we need marketing vehicles beyond our show, and so I'm going to make this happen.
It is perfect.
While we were recording, by the way, they emailed me and said, we finally got coupon codes for your listeners online. Whoa. So if you go to bubbacoos.com, you can utilize the code TheGrit15. It's one word and 15 is the numbers. So TheGrit15 for 15% off your next order. This does not apply on the app that we've talked about in the past, just on bubbacooz.com. So go there, order, use TheGrit15 and save 15%.
I will tell you too, it is a delicious, delicious experience.
Unquestionably. But while you're on the road, Chaz, you need consistency. And your diet is going to be subject to all sorts of new foods. So what helps keep you consistent on the road?
Guess what I knew that I needed more than anything else was my athleticgreens.com/surf. When I was up early in the morning, I grabbed that bag. I filled a glass jar full because I've already used all my travel packs, filled a glass jar full, and that thing has kept me sane. I will tell you what, I've been eating not great. It's hard to eat great on the road, but every bad meal I have, I know that underneath it, undergirding me, is athleticgreens.com/surf.
It's important. I mean, when you're middle of the day, run into abject disaster and you need to walk 2 miles in 100-degree weather, something needs to be fueling you.
Exactly. And I don't fear that I'm going to break down myself personally. I wish I could feed the Volkswagen, athleticgreens.com/surf.
That'd be amazing if you could.
Yep.
You should try. I mean, you wouldn't want to waste it because you need it for yourself.
No, I need it. I
yeah.
can walk. If that breaks down, I got legs.
That's true. And you want to be able to make sharp decisions when you're faced with abject disaster and be able to navigate problems. And neurons are firing with athleticgreens.com/surf.
I've got all my facilities peak performance, even though I'm eating chicken fried steaks.
Exactly. It buoys the chicken fried steaks.
Yep.
Awesome. Well, thanks to our sponsors, athleticgreens.com/surf and bubbacooz.com, of course. All right, Chaz, we are back. I'm glad. I think we were looking for listener help, but I think we might have solved it without the listeners.
I feel really good about those choices.
I think so too. So I got a couple of barrel or nahs for you that come straight for, this is all road trip related barrel or nah, of course. Using rest stop bathrooms.
Here we go. Funny, I was at a rest stop for, I think I was probably there for 5 hours total, and I did not use the restroom. I think I sweated out anything that needed to come out otherwise, but in general, I'm kind of a nah on rest stop bathrooms, like, because I don't want to just stop to go to the bathroom, right? Like, you have momentum, yeah, I'm going to say a full nah. If you have momentum, and you're going to stop to go to the restroom, you're silly. Stop to get gas or something to drink and then use the restroom. Like, you got to double up. You got to kill 2 birds with 1 stone when you're on the road, right? And a rest stop only ever kills 1 bird.
And it's the filthiest restrooms that you will ever encounter in your life, because they're only used by transients. You know, if you stop at a Starbucks bathroom, people are eating, there's food associated, there's a certain and by the way, Starbucks employees are cleaning those bathrooms. So there's a little bit more respect for the restroom. A rest stop restroom is the filthiest version of a restroom that exists on the planet.
I will say though, here you go. Here's a wrinkle. Oklahoma, I passed 2 or 3 of them, like crazy landmark rest stops. Like, it's like, go visit this rest stop specifically because it has this landmark thing associated, and they look epic. So I maybe have to stop at one today and use the restroom. But I'm not usually.
Go look at the landmark, but don't use the restroom.
But I don't mind filth. It keeps your antibodies up.
I would pull over at that rest stop and go pee in the bushes outside of the rest stop before I would go into the room. I mean, the other thing is it's all being used by truckers, and those guys are hard living. They're eating terrible food on the road. So
not anymore. They're diverse. They're a diverse bunch. It's a beautiful rainbow out there.
That's true, but they're still hard living, and there are only have access to road food. And
That's
so
true.
it's not pretty.
That's true.
All right. Avoid rest stop bathrooms, not barrel.
Yes.
Um, barrel or not, number two. You benefited from this, but barrel or not, picking up a hitchhiker.
Oh, so barrel. It's funny. Anytime that need a ride, I remember how important it is to pick up hitchhikers. And I'm not talking about somebody hitching. Like, I'm gonna say, if you want, this is on you. You want to take somebody like far down the road, somebody who's just straight up hitchhiking, doesn't have a ride, and is just on the road hitchhiking. That's fine. Do it or don't. I typically don't like that because I don't want to just sit and have to talk to somebody. I'm on the road to, go somewhere, thinking my own thoughts, et cetera, et cetera. But if you see somebody distressed, pick that person up. Like, that person's never going more than 5 miles, whatever. You're not going to get stuck on the hook for anything. Just like, if you see somebody in distress, help abroad. So again, I'm going to write about this. The two dicks I've encountered, which part of the wrapping up in my thinking about it, encountered wonderful people out here on the road, wonderful New Mexicans, wonderful, Texans, Oklahomians. The two dicks, the one dude from California was trying to pass everybody, where everybody was in the same boat. The other one, after I got the oil, there was a SUV pulled in with Florida plates. Nice couple got out, and I said, hey, are you guys going east? They said yes. And I said, like, I'm literally 2 miles up the road at the first rest stop. Is there any way you can dump me off? And they said, we would so love to, but our car is really full. Our car is just packed with stuff. I could see it, like, it fully, absolutely wasn't. Lying Floridians. Floridians are dicks. Californians are dicks. And like, so the full-on guy living off the grid, poor guy from the gas station's like, I'll take it. Like,
Wow.
So you're like, F you, Florida.
Wow.
But don't be Floridian. Don't be those people.
That doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
So I think when you hear horror stories about hitchhiking, some serial killer or something, I think it's the people that are picking up the hitchhikers. It's the driver who sees a young girl on the side of the road. Am I back?
Yeah, you're back.
Okay. I think the serial killers, the ones creating havoc, are the drivers themselves. They see somebody who is in a bad position, who's desperate on the side of the road, and they're taking advantage of that person. I don't know that I've ever actually heard a story where the hitchhiker themselves stabbed the driver.
Well, and now this is all ringing a bell. We have had this one as a barrel or not before.
Is it?
And if I recall, my barrel at the time was also, especially if you're a man, if you're an adult man driving and you get bested by a hitchhiker, then you're doing something wrong. Like, you trust your strength, trust your grit to,
Okay.
if that hitchhiker is going to pull a knife on you, kick him in the head, get him out of your car.
So I'm going to say, be wary. If you are a hitcher, be wary of the person picking you up. Definitely. But if you are a driver, fully safe to pick up a hitchhiker.
And full barrel for distress, I'm going to leave it up to the individual. If they're like a chatty Cathy and wants a chatty Cathy driver who wants some company, pitch up a cross-country hitchhiker. Go for it. It's not my thing.
Perfect. Barrel. Final barrel or not. You are on this mission. You have a timeline that you're trying to stick to. So the question is, barrel or not, taking time to interrupt your travel and visit roadside attractions.
Ooh,
now this is a tough one. I've visited rock stores, alligator farm, and petting zoo. World's largest thermometer, of course, if you're ever going to Vegas. There's a hammer museum in Alaska. There's kind of these iconic roadside stops.
Yesterday ripped right by the world's largest Route 66 sign. Didn't see it because I was going to have to get off because it was a roadside attraction. So, and now that I think about it, I regret ripping by. It would have taken me 10 minutes. I could have pulled off, seen the world's largest Route 66 sign and always had that as a conversation piece. But I've never seen it. I passed it.
And possibly have encountered a World Surf League fan.
There was something I was passing signs for yesterday. It was called the Devil's Rope. Stop and see the Devil's Rope. I didn't stop. I'm curious to this very minute. What was the Devil's Rope?
Who knows? You'll never know.
It was right there. It was right there on the side of the road.
So the problem here is I agree with you. Always stop, like this all adds to the color of the trip. I think you should actually plan your trips with a bunch of buffer just for these types of stops that pop up. However, there's an endless array of stops. There's billboards at every turn, somebody trying to advertise something, and not all of them are worth stopping to see.
Of course. And so maybe this is the barrel right here is stop once or twice per leg, right? Like choose one, like which one catches you? No, there might be a better one up there, but randomly choose one of them and then don't stop again, even if you see the best one ever.
You got a quota of 2 that you're allowed to hit in a given day. And you really have to use those sparingly because you never know. You might come across, I don't know, the world's largest doll collection up ahead, but you wasted it on the lavender field, I'm
going to hit one today. I am going to hit a roadside attraction today.
Okay. We'll look for it on Beach Grit tomorrow.
Yep. I'm excited to do it. You've inspired. I have something to look forward to now. I was sort of not looking very much forward to the next 7 hours of driving I have to do, but now I am.
So where's your next stop?
Memphis, Tennessee.
Your final stop?
No, to Nashville. So,
Nashville. Got it.
Yeah. Memphis is only like 3 hours from Nashville, but I'm theoretically flying out of Nashville tomorrow. And so, don't feel like driving 10 hours and then getting on a plane.
Have you been to Memphis before?
No, that's the other thing is I'm excited to go see Graceland.
Awesome, dude. I've been there. I love Memphis. You should have a blast. Are you going to go do Beale Street and have a night out or anything?
I think I want to go. I think, I don't know if I'll be able to get tickets for Graceland, but I'm definitely going to go park out front and look at Graceland and then go to other Elvis haunts. Probably do a little mini Elvis tour.
Awesome. It's funny. Graceland is not as big and palatial as you would expect it to be.
Yeah, I can imagine. But I remember thinking that, like when I saw the Sphinx in Egypt, I thought, what's this little thing? When I saw the White House, I was like, yuck. When I saw, Buckingham Palace, I thought this is an ugly box. Like at this point, I've been conditioned not to expect anything or to expect bad. And so I'm happy to see. Yeah, I'll save Graceland for the wife, I think. But yeah, Elvis. Love me some Elvis. Me and my brother once, when we were valeting, found where Elvis lived when he lived in Hollywood, in the Bel Air, I think it was, and snuck into the swimming pool of the house and jumped in just so we could swim where Elvis swam.
Incredible.
Yep.
That's the other thing is we've been conditioned the other way in that we've seen big mansions so often now. And if you've been in Bel Air, almost every mansion in Bel Air is bigger and more, like fancy than Graceland.
Yeah.
But at the time, Graceland was a big deal. The other thing that you realize when you go there and you learn about Elvis and kind of understand the context of the time that he was famous in, there were very, very few celebrities back then. Like right now, there's YouTube celebrities or gaming celebrities, in addition to all of the Hollywood celebrities, in addition to all the musical celebrities of all the different genres. There's so many celebrities that you and I don't even know who are huge.
Mega millions of followers.
Yeah. Back then, it was literally like 5 people,
Yeah, Elvis and Elizabeth Taylor.
And Marilyn Monroe, and like Frank Sinatra.
Yeah, that was it. The only famous people in the world. Yeah, it's totally
exactly. True. So their fan base was they could not go anywhere.
Yeah.
Well, awesome. Get a fried peanut butter and banana sandwich.
I sure will.
Get some athletic greens to, fill in the gaps. All right. Well, hey, we've kept you for way too long in the middle of your quest. I wish you luck. And I hope before you get to the coast that you're able to find the elusive fan.
Me too.
All right. Best wishes. Hannah will sign us off.
Bon voyage.